Yo, what's up? I'm MC and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I've told you this a couple times already, but I am in love with your voice. And the moment that I heard you just doing those covers on TikTok, like I immediately got hooked on you. And I'm so
Thanks.
glad that we can finally talk because your new single is like another incredible track that you've released. So congratulations with
Thank
the
you.
release of your new song, Ctrl+Alt+Delete. And talk to me a little bit about being able to open up the way that you did with your audience, getting so vulnerable with a track like this, and what really kickstarted the writing process for you?
Wow, that's a great question. I feel like for me, I went through this period of writing what I thought other people would want to hear, and it just never translated or never felt right. So I had to kind of just abandon that and just write what needed to come out. And for me, a lot of it, like music has always kind of really been therapeutic to me. So writing this one was very kind of just getting it all out there, and it just kind of allowed me to be super vulnerable in that way. But it wasn't really intentionally to connect. It was more just like, this is a song that I needed to get out because it's like music is kind of my way of healing myself. But in turn, it's actually really cool to hear people say that, you know, this song has helped me through something, or you know, your music is helping me, you know, get through something in my life. Like I never kind of anticipated that ever being a thing. So yeah, that's a really cool aspect of I guess being a songwriter. But yeah, for me, it's always just kind of been, how do I stay true to, you know, what I want to express in a song, and then it kind of came to be that way.
As you kind of mentioned, you kind of just let everything out. So as a songwriter, especially for this particular song, like when you finally wrote the song and you finished writing it, and you pretty much were just letting go of everything that you had to let go of, how did you feel mentally and emotionally? Like, did you feel like you were just drained? Like you were just completely exhausted from that process?
I don't know. I feel like it was kind of, the song just needed to kind of be what it was, and I was just kind of allowing it to come through. I'd never, at no point did it feel like it was draining me to kind of get it out. It wasn't really like the kind of song that you would have to like push to get out. It was literally just like a flow. Like I just kind of let it come out and exist. That's my favorite kind of songwriting is when I just kind of, I'm just allowing it to, it feels like it almost already exists somewhere, and I'm just kind of pulling it down and like putting it on paper. But yeah, so it wasn't ever really like a difficult process for me to kind of, that has ever made me feel really drained or super vulnerable. I guess it's only really at the point where I'm explaining it to people, I'm explaining my own lyrics to people, that I'm realizing how vulnerable it actually is. But I think that's kind of like a really beautiful part about being a songwriter, I guess, is just kind of laying it all out there and seeing what sticks.
Does the song already have its identity as it's already flowing out, or was this something that you kind of figured out like halfway through the writing process?
That's a really great question. I started out thinking it was a love song. I think I was writing like the first verse, and just like the wow, way that it felt and the way that, yeah, the melodies felt, I was like, oh, this is a love song. And then I hit the chorus and it's like, this is not at all what that is about. So lyrics changed, and you know, and it's like, that's really the freedom that I have to kind of allow myself to have when I'm writing, because I don't know, it feels kind of like you're suffocating yourself to kind of, or at least for me, like it suffocates me to kind of go, I'm going to write this type of song. It's kind of like there's already something out there in the ether, and I need to allow it to exist. And I'm just kind of like a vessel to a degree, and I'm just, you know, painting it in my own way, but it's kind of, yeah, more of like an allowing. Yeah.
The fact that you discovered that it was something completely different towards the writing process, did that change the mindset of how you were gonna pretty much sing the vocals for the track, or did you not really focus on that until you were actually recording it?
No, I think I always kind of sang it in a certain, or in that particular way. But I think, yeah, like the melodies and the overall feel really guide me when I'm writing, like the content of it, right? So just based off of the melodies, I was kind of confused, and I thought, oh, it's a love song. And then as I kept kind of going and more melodies flew out of me, it's kind of like, no, this is bigger. This means something. This is more about life. This is more about, something more than this. So I kind of just flowed with it and just allowed it to come out.
Now, one of my favorite sections of this song vocally was your vocal run on Reach Into Your Hidden Voice. That voice run that you did was just, one, it was incredible, but two, you made it seem like you didn't even try. Like it felt so natural and smooth. So talk to me about that particular run, and what kind of challenges did you face, or maybe you didn't face while recording that?
It's funny because I was thinking like that needs to have a run, because it's almost like you're coloring the voice even in that particular moment, right? Like you're saying voice, but it's like not just leaving it bare, you're kind of coloring it. So I think it's always been there. I think I went back in like one of my first ever recordings of me kind of just writing it, and I think it was always there. Yeah, I never really thought too much about it though. It's kind of funny. Like sometimes I'll write something that is very challenging to do vocally, and I can't even do it vocally, and I'm just like, how am I writing this? But it also is a good thing because it's kind of consistently like challenging myself, right? And like hopefully I get better vocally as I keep writing. But yeah.
So you said you consider it as coloring voice. To me, I felt voice as, leading to the chorus of letting go. And I felt it as like letting go of everything that was bothering you. So that's where that vocal run was going through. It was just like going through every crevice until it kind of escaped you. And that's kind of like the feeling I got out of that.
Awesome.
It's cool. Like that's one thing I love about music, that it's like you have one idea of why you did this, and then so many other people can get such a different perspective and such a different feel.
That's amazing.
So aside from that part, another part of mine that I really enjoyed, and it's towards the end during the bridge, where like I love how it's like you're climaxing, and then all of a sudden it goes into this like dream-like piano sequence, and then you kind of climax again until it kind of simmers down towards the outro. And like to me, that was just like, it just reminded me of like, similar to the song, like situations of when there's just so much going on in your head, like, or like your heart or soul to many people, and it's like you're just trying to battle, like, okay, what do I do? How do I control this? How am I gonna like calm down? And that's kind of what I experienced with that, with the bridge of your song. Can you tell me a little bit about the creative process of that section?
The bridge was actually, so the bridge or the breakdown kind of onwards?
Sorry, the breakdown onwards.
Okay, so I guess we came up with that with my band. No, actually, I think I wrote it that way. We always kind of knew that it was going to have a breakdown. But in terms of like building that actual breakdown and making sure like all the instruments were building it the right way, I think it all really came together when we hired Aaron Paris, who's our strings player. I think the arrangement that he did was like fantastic. But also it's just for the writing process, I guess it was always kind of present. And I knew I kind of wanted to break it all down and kind of strip it bare and build from there, because it does have that kind of movement and power towards the end. And so to kind of cut it in half or cut it right down and then be that vulnerable and then explode into the power of that chorus. And it really just made sense with the lyrics and what we're trying to get across. Yeah. So. And
talk to me a little bit more about the team behind it, the production team, and like also the band that you had to play the instruments. What was it about them that you felt they were the right fit for this song in particular? And what was that chemistry like when you guys started to work together?
Awesome. Well, I met my drummer, I guess at the beginning of last year, and we played one show before, and glad to get one show in before, but I found him on Instagram, and I kind of knew just from hearing him that I was like, yeah, this is the guy. He's the one. And because I had been through so many drummers, and he's the one who kind of led me into my current producer, and my bassist has been by my side for well over a couple of years now, I'd say. So I guess it's been a journey building the right team. And I think, yeah, it really contributes to the chemistry really contributes to the music and the overall sound. And for me, it's been really, I guess, challenging to find the right chemistry and the right people. But I think it's just really people who are open, flexible, and who are like, you know, trusting both ways. Like I trust them and they trust me to kind of collectively bring the vision to life. And yeah, I think I'm just really blessed to know them and to get to work with them. But yeah, so I guess it's been a couple years in the making, but grateful to have found the right people. Yeah.
Back to your writing process. You know, you've had a few other songs that you've released in the past. So now with the release of this new single, like, how do you feel your songwriting has evolved? And do you feel like you're the same? Do you feel like when you're writing, you kind of have that same mindset as you did when you first started?
Very different. I guess it's always evolving. A lot of my songs differ depending on what instrument I'm writing them on. So a lot of my piano songs will be very kind of similar. And then a lot of my guitar songs will be kind of in their own area, in their own arena, I guess you would say. But in terms of like the content that I write about, yeah, I'd say that it's evolved collectively over the years, but I typically try to make it either something spiritual or something kind of empowering, or something about the universe and consciousness in general. Like I'm pretty spiritual and pretty conscious in that sense. I'd like to kind of embed that in the lyrics in some way, shape, or form. But in terms of like melodies and vibe, I would say you're gonna see a lot of changes moving forward too. Like especially some of my guitar songs are very different to what you guys have heard so far. So yeah, looking forward to putting out more music.
Well, definitely looking forward to that. Aside from more music, I know you've been working on the music video for this single, and you pretty much just do everything. Not only do you write the music and you record it, but you're also a big part of the editing process for the music video and the storyboarding for the lyric video. So talk to me about like being an independent artist who's also busy with a full-time, and being able to have not just the time, but the energy to kind of continue to create and release these projects that you have going on.
I'm a full-time marketer, or I work in marketing full-time. So there's a lot going on in my head on a daily basis that is kind of both creative and analytical. So like taking off that hat, putting on my music hat at the end of the day can be very draining, not gonna lie. But the thing that really keeps me going is like, I just remind myself, like, this is everything I've ever wanted to do. And it's like a blessing to not only have the right people around me to make the music, but also amazing resources to make creative visuals. Like I could not have done anything in terms of like my last music video and my next one, like without like the amazing people that are willing to help me out for, you know, like, and give me their time. And I really, really am blessed to kind of work with them. So I guess it's just a lot of remembering and being grateful for what I do have. That kind of keeps me on my game and keeps me going. But it does tend to get a little draining. A lot of late nights, pretty much, and early mornings.
But you're doing what you love, and that's, I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what, you know, I know the job pays the bills, but this is what pays like your it just makes
Soul.
you, yeah, exactly. It just makes you complete.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm trying to look for. It just makes you complete. So
Yeah.
aside from, you know, those easy runs that you kind of had on this song, talk to me about, to close us off, like talk to me about like challenges that you kind of faced in whether it was the writing process or the recording process of Ctrl+Alt+Delete.
I guess challenges. I guess I spent a lot of time recording vocals, but that's just because I am very picky and I enjoy that. So I wouldn't really say that's a challenge. In terms of challenges, like for me, I would love to have recorded my band live off the floor, and that's, I guess, it's not always a possibility to do that. So that would be one of the challenges. But I am happy with how it came out regardless. Like we all kind of recorded separately. I mean, I recorded my bassist here, but yeah, we kind of recorded all the pieces individually, which to me, like I wish we could have recorded it as a collective and seen how that would have turned out. But, you know, that's, you know, it's not really possible. But yeah, I guess that would be the only challenge, but I'm really happy with, regardless, with how it turned out. And I think we kind of built the end really well, and it came out beautiful. So I'm really proud of it regardless.
Well, congratulations with the single.
Thank
It's
you.
seriously an incredible track that you released. So I am looking forward to more music from you. I'm hooked.
So
I'm a fan. I'm here to stay. So please, whatever it is you have to do to create music, please just make sure you do, because this is, I mean, this music is like, is your therapy, but it's also helping so many of us kind of get through these rough times or you know, deal with things. So thank you so much for doing what you do, MC.
Thanks so much, Rob. Really appreciate it.